Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make a website as an agency that goes way beyond just looking good. We're building a complete business management system. We'll be showcasing how you can work as a team on one product, building a website that includes client portals where customers can see their purchase histories, automated workflow systems that can handle everything from lead capture to project delivery, and integrated communication tools. I'm building this hair salon website, but you can adapt these business functionality features for any service-based business. In fact, here's what we'll be covering: website wireframe builders, client portal, automated workflows, tools for collaborating with web design clients, CMS for client websites in 2025, customizing templates, SEO setup for new client websites, and website custom code. By the end, you'll have a website that actually runs business operations, not just represents them, and no code will be required. We'll be using Wix Studio for this, so if you want to take this to the next level and add custom functionality with code, I'll be showing you how to do that at the end too. So let's all get started at the same place by clicking on the link in the video description below. Okay, so let's do this. Let's start creating. Here I am on the Wix Studio website, and I'm just gonna click over here. I have already logged in previously, so it does take me straight to the dashboard, but you might need to just sign up. Please feel free to do so. You don't need to pay or anything like that. It's super simple. So here we are on my dashboard. Yours should look the same. And what we're going to do is just head over to explore all templates. So as you can see, there's so many templates here to choose from, but if you're like me and want the bare minimum, so essentially just a kind of layout that you can use that's been optimized for mobile, tablet, and desktop, then Wix Studio has a few. Let's go to responsive wireframe templates. So we're just going to search for that, and so many show up. Okay, there really is a lot. Now, as we are building a hair salon, and I want the client to be able to log in and see previous services that they have used, we're going to need a services wireframe, but we're going to want one that actually allows us to take bookings. So if you look here, these two allow us to take bookings, so it's just up to us. I'm going to choose to select this one right here. So let's go ahead and select edit. Okay, now this is going to load. So once again, what we are doing is choosing a responsive wireframe so that all we have to do is just add the text, add some images. All the kind of business structure and website structure has already been done for us. And great. So as you can see here, this allows us to sign in as a user and book now. We've got an about us section. We have some services that have been highlighted, some testimonials from users, and of course the option to book now again, and a contact action. So great, I'm so happy with this website structure. If you're not, however, I'm going to show you how to customize this later. So I'm just going to scroll all the way back up here, and let's do it. Okay, to view this properly, let's go ahead and click publish. So I'm just going to save and continue. I'm just going to get the Wix website. So now let's view the site. So this is what it will look like as if it was published. Of course, you can choose to do this on your own domain. This is just the Wix Studio domain that's been given to me right now. So if this was my business here and I wanted to see the client portal, so what the client sees, I would just go ahead and log in here. It's asking me to sign up with Google. So this is what your client will also be asked to do. And now you can see that I am logged in. So now if I choose to book something as a user, okay, let's go here. I'm going to select the first service. Once this is set up, I'll be able to book from here as a client. Great. So now let's go back to the editor right here, select on my business, and create our first service. So here are the services that we just saw. You can edit the price. You can even edit the schedule. You know, as a hair salon, you probably have a schedule of where people work and who's working at the time. So everything here will be essentially editable for you. So we have the title. Let's go ahead and put full head highlights. You can put in an image, or you can get AI to make one for you. So for example, you can use the AI image generator, in which I just type full head of highlights and I create an image. Or you can choose from the thousands of images that are to your disposal with Wix. I'm just going to choose to select this one. You can crop it. You can even extend it. There's so much amazing functionality to do, but as we need a square for this, I'm just going to click Save. Okay, and add to page. As I did mention, you can get images from Shutterstock or Unsplash as well as media from Wix. There is so many images to your disposal, but this looks good to me. So you can set the duration as well. You can choose how clients pay for the service. So is it a session? Do they have a plan? This is great for promoting your membership plans and recurring revenue. And of course, you get the location. So this would not be online. Let's save and continue this. This would be in person. And for this, you need to add a business location. So you can do so quite easily. I'm just going to add a location. I'm just going to do the Palm Jumeirah, Dubai. Sure, let's go with that. And I'm going to save the changes. Of course, I would hope that you take a lot more time doing this. So I'm not going to add video conferences. As I said, someone needs to come to get their hair done. And then you can choose a staff member. So for example, if I create a new staff member here, let's go with Maggie Moo. Save. This will also show up in your staff members section. Great. There is a lot more stuff that you can personalize here, but I'm just going to save this as I'm happy with it. And ta-da, of course, you do have to pay to actually start taking bookings online. So I'm going to leave that up to you. Wonderful. So I've just shown you how to add a service to your portfolio. Next, I'm going to show you where that staff member went. So if you look at the booking calendar, here is essentially where all your bookings will show up. So if someone booked ahead of highlights, it will show up here. And the staff member assigned to it will too. So at the moment, you could just see Maggie Moo, that's the one I've added, and the generic staff member. Okay, so this is a great way for you to see all your bookings as the owner of the salon or just another staff member too. Great. So wonderful. We can also look at the work schedule. So when people are working, so as you can see, Megami works from 10 a.m. till 6 p.m. And of course, you can customize this too. There really is a lot to get into. This really is a complex system that has been made super digestible and I think pretty easy to use. Okay, so once again, I'm just going to click into staff, and here essentially is a much more in-depth look into what permissions each staff member has, their email address, and so on. So if I edit this, Maggie Moo is here. If I go ahead and give an email address, we can also contact her from this system. She can also have permissions. So for example, if I add an email address, it will get sent to that email address, and the permissions for her to come on and use this system will be granted to her as well. Okay, so this is all Maggie Moo's profile right here, and I'm just going to click save. Okay, so I think we've covered the client portal, so essentially what the client sees, as well as the back end of what happens when a booking is made. I'm just going to click off that for now. If I go ahead and click on Wix members area, we can actually manage the members. So there should only be one member for now. That should be me. There we are, because I did sign up. I can retract my ownership if I want. So that is an option I could do. I can also customize the members page. So this essentially is what the members page looks like. So here I am. You will be able to see my bookings, my wallet. So that is a nice feature that allows us to see how much money we have in there, my subscriptions, my orders, and my addresses that I have previously used. So at the moment, it just has my name and essentially everything that I got from when I signed up with Google. Okay, so great. Of course, you can personalize this to whatever needs you want. Now let's look at some automated workflows. Okay, so now it's time to look at automated workflows. And we're going to do this by just heading to the dashboard right here. So this will take you to the main dashboard of your website, and we're going to look at automations right here. So here you will see all automations that are suggested for you. You can choose to get an email when a form is submitted. So that just means you'll get notified if someone submits a form, so you can set up this automation. You can get reminders to follow up with new clients. So that is also a great automation to have. So when someone signs up, you can essentially contact them and create a funnel for them. You can also choose to engage with clients automatically, meaning you don't have to do anything. So for example, welcome new members with an email and bring back clients who haven't checked in for a month. So let's go ahead and do the welcome new site members with an email. So I'm going to set up this automation. Of course, there are so many more you can choose from. That is the beautiful thing. This is just one that I have chosen as we've just added a new member to our database. So here is the automation builder. What is nice about this is that it works with a trigger and an action. Here the trigger is visitor signs up to your site and the action is send an email. So once again, you can choose to trigger this once per person, or you can choose to have it as the default, which means that it gets triggered every single time. And the action is to send an email. So the sender's name is going to be no reply, and the reply to email no reply at wixautomations.com. You can, of course, choose to edit this. So I'm just going to choose to use my personal email. As you know, we don't have a work email at the moment. So I'm just going to click enter, and we're just going to confirm that. So here we are, we just received an email confirmation code, and I'm just going to put that in here and confirm. So now we've essentially linked everything up. My sender is now going to be kuboania@gmail.com. You can also add multiple senders if you want, if you upgrade the email plan. So now that should update. The sender's name will be Kubo Anya, and the reply to email from the automated email will be my personal email address. As a business, I would choose to put a business address here if you have one. If you don't, I strongly advise that you should probably have one to keep everything separate. But anyway, let's carry on. So once you've done that, you can actually create an email. You can create one with AI, or you can edit the one that's already here. So here is the template. So it just says, you're now a member of my site. We're happy to let you know you're now a member and can log into the site. For any questions, feel free to get in touch. So then it urges you to log in. That is the call to action for this email. So great. I really like this. You can also add personalized context. So for example, we can grab the contact's first name, so whoever signed up, and the fallback text for, you know, if they didn't supply one or something gone wrong, we can be like, hello, Anya, or hello, new member, just like that. There we go. So that is the syntax for adding personalized contact. So that will say, hi, Anya, or hi, new member. You're now a member of my site. So this is looking good. Let's preview and test. Okay, so that's what it will look like. Let's send a test email. So I'm just going to choose to send it to my personal one as well. Send. And if I check my email address, ta-da! So the reply to is kuboania@gmail.com from Kubo Anya. Of course, you can edit that again if you want. There's the title of the email, and the test has been sent. The name Jamie has been used as the test user. And if I click here, it should take you to the login page of your site. Amazing. So this is all looking good. Everything is working as it should. So great. We've just set up our first automation. Amazing. Let's go back to the automations. So here is one that's now ended. You can, of course, add another step. So after the email has been sent, you can add a condition. So for example, if this, then that, you can check if, for example, maybe it bounced or something, then you want another action, but I'll leave that up to you. Okay, so I'm going to exit this right now. Once again, we've set up this one automation that is here. We've already got some installed for us that, you know, you can edit. So this has actually come with the template that we are using. So email customers to let them know you manually charge their credit card, new submission received for contact. There is quite a lot there. So please feel free to edit these or delete them or, customize them as you wish as well. But yes, so many automations to choose from, as you can see here. Okay, they just keep going and going, really. Or you can, of course, create your own with the automation builder that I just showed you. You can add the trigger, add the action, add a condition. It really is up to you. Okay, now let's look on to tools for collaborating with web design clients. Okay, so to collaborate first, we're going to have to invite some people that could collaborate with us, like a team. So to do this, all you're going to do is once again on this dashboard right here, I'm just going to go to settings and I'm going to scroll down. So scroll down all the way down here to roles and permissions. So here you can set roles and permissions for pretty much anyone in your team. So I'm the owner, so I get the best access possible. And let's go ahead and invite some people. So I'm going to invite team@codewithanya.com, add team. This is just my team member. And it could be an admin or a co-owner. I'm going to choose for this to be a website designer. So they can edit the site, manage settings and ads, but cannot access inbox, contacts, and other sensitive info. So I think that makes the best choice for someone who's, just helping you on the web design and the visuals. So let's go ahead and select that. Of course, you have other stuff like content writer, back office manager, which will essentially just give you access to the dashboard stuff. So really choose your kind of settings for the right person in mind. So great. Of course, you also have editor roles, CMS roles, so that's content management system roles, billing roles when it comes to billing and domain management, and a lot more. So check those out. I'm going to go with website designer for this one. So let's go ahead and send invite. So there we go. The invite is for a client I create websites for. Sure, let's go with that. So done. So once again, let's pretend that this is a client that I am building the website for, but they want to have input on the front end design. Okay, so now I'm pretending to be that client. I'm going to accept that invite, and this is essentially what they will see. So it's always good to see what they will see as well, because you're obviously just sending off an invite and hoping for the best. So let's click on sites and mobiles. Let's edit this site because this is the one that we have access for. And ta-da, we can now edit on here too. So great, I am here as a member of team at codewithanya.com. However, if I go to the dashboard for this site, I won't really be able to access anything of it. Okay, so for example, I've just clicked on customers and leads and it says you don't have permission to do this, okay? And it doesn't really show Anya, the lead that we just created. So wonderful, that works as it should. Great. One other thing I can do is click on a component and add a comment. So this is great because it works in a collaborative way in which I can write comments, attach images, files, and more, and just add the site member that I want to communicate with. So for example, I can be like, what do we think of this image for the header? And yeah, and then I can even attach an image if I want, okay? So I'm just gonna attach a random image of me for now with, voluptuous looking hair because it's a salon website. So I'm gonna attach that, and what do we think of this image for the header, Anya? Send, and then I should be able to see it. So I love this tool. What a great way to collaborate with people all over the world. I'm done with this part for now. Let's go back to what we would view this as. So let's go back to my site editor, and then I'm just going to go back to the home page, and in a comment here, ta-da, that is from team email just now, and I can reply. How cool is that? Let's look at CMS for client websites in 2025 next. Okay, so let's look at CMS or content management systems coming up now. So content management system, you get that here, and I'm just going to start now. This will help you store content in a collection, display content dynamically, collect info using custom forms, and work with collaborators. So if I click start now, just to get things started, I'll talk you through this in a little bit more detail. So content management systems are great for, uploading loads and loads of stuff like images, descriptions, and then it's much easier to get them up on your website rather than you uploading each image individually, making a component, uploading the image, uploading the text. No, this is all going to be done in one table, and then you can get an element and map all the information out onto elements from there. So let's go ahead and do it. I'm going to use a pre-designed layout to display projects, listings, and more. So for example, let's do team members. So I'm going to add this to site. I think as a hairdressing salon, it's nice to see who you're going to get. And now all I'm going to do is just fill out the name. So we've got Maggie Moo already. Let's add Maggie Moo. We'll put her email address here too, maggie@hairsalon.com. Then we have Danny Lee, Danny@hairsalon.com. Let's go with Ahmed Zaid. Then we have Ahmed@hairsalon.com. Paulina Koshak. Paulina@hairsalon.com. And just two more. Let's go with Hani, who I'm not very good at thinking of names, Hani@hairsalon.com. And finally, Samara Seam, Samara@hairsalon.com. And then you can have, senior hairstylist or senior stylist. Stylist, receptionist, which should probably have me as the owner. So I'm going to just change that to Ania Kubo and then Ania here. So just like that. And then you've got a description. Of course, you can change it. You've got their phone number if you want. A generic photo, which of course you can change. Short description, website, and then you can have the slug, which just means the specific URL, which will take you to the team members. You can view their own individual page too. So I'm not going to edit those, but you can change that to Maggie, and it will just mean that if someone types wix.com/team Maggie, then you'll be able to see Maggie Moo's profile. Okay, so amazing. This is looking good to me. We've done it. So now on this page that has been created, it's called Team, it lists out each individual team member. So how cool is that? This looks so good, and all I have to do is add all that information into a table, and then it literally maps it out onto each card right here. So I'm just going to publish this so we can view it. And like I said, if you click onto each one of these, we'll click onto Maggie because we did alter her slug. Let's view this site once more. And I'm just going to go to team. We get our team members. And if I click on Maggie Moo, yep, the URL has changed to Maggie. And you get Maggie's individual profile page. How cool is that? And if you click on Danny, it'll just go to full name 02 because we didn't edit that one. So that's essentially how content management systems work in Wix. It's just a much easier way to essentially make collections of data, including images, that you can then map out. It's great for something like property websites where you can put all your properties in there and then you can list them out, you can map them, and then you can filter through them too. Okay, so for example, if I just wanted to show, let's click on here. So for example, if I just wanted to show specific people, so just the stylist, okay, I could, let's click on this here, set up a filter so that it filters the data set to just show the stylist or something like that. Okay, great. So a lot to do here. Like I said, I wanted to put this on cards, but you could do it as a list, a slider, or a grid cell too. Wonderful. So amazing. This is one collection, not filtered. It's just everyone in that collection. But like I said, you could set up filters in a more advanced use case as well. Okay, great. So now that we've done this, let's look at customizing templates. Okay, let's look at customizing templates. I'm just going to head over to the home section. So like I said, I've already shown you how people can suggest stuff for you, but how do you actually do it? So this is super easy. You can see all the layers that make up the homepage here. You have the header, which is this. And if you click into it, you can see that it is made of a stack, which has the hamburger bar, the login bar, and so on. Then we also have the horizontal menu. So this and the business name. We also have the next section and the section grid and the section grid and so on. So that's the layers that make it up. You can add sections. If I wanted to, I'd simply go ahead and add a section like so. And then here you can add an element. So for example, if I want to add a button, it's so easy. You just click button and a button is added. Okay, so super simple to add new sections. I'm just going to delete that section by clicking on the delete button. And if I want to edit a section, that's going to be super easy for me too. I can choose to delete a section, move it up or down, add a cell if I want, or add code, which we will be looking at later on. Okay, so once again, let's take this section right here. If you get up this section editor, I can essentially change anything I click on. So here, the media is to have this kind of slowly changing video. I can change that. So I can explore anything from here. Let's just type in hair salon, even though hair salon ones have kind of been suggested to me. Let's go ahead and use this video right here. So I'm just going to change the background like so. And that's really it. That was super easy. To change text, it's just as easy. So I've just selected that. Let's highlight this. And the color picker is right here. So I'm going to go with this off-white. Amazing. And finally, the button. I don't like the color of this, so I'm going to change it to this off-white color too. And let's also change the text. You can change the style, you can change the font size. I just want to change the color. So I'm going to select this right here and make it purple. Okay, or you can add a layer if you want. There really is so much customization you can do. And that's really it. That's how you would customize it on a basic level. You can, of course, create custom site themes. So here are my site styles as well as fonts. You can change them to just make your life a little bit easier when it comes to, you know, having a brand identity if you wish. Okay, now let's look at SEO. Okay, so to look at SEO, once again, we're just going to go to the dashboard. I'm just going to shut all these down. Let's go all the way down here, go to settings, and then we get site domain and SEO. So let's go to SEO settings, and here is everything you need in order to customize the default page settings and meta tags across all page types. So for example, let's click on main pages and let's go ahead and edit this one here. So here we go. Here are just the basics. This is how you can edit what it will preview like on Google. So it's a title tag. You can create text with AI if you wish. This might be a good suggestion for those who maybe aren't so skilled in writing SEO. So you can even choose which one you want. Okay, of course, don't think you should call your website My Site 3. Please go ahead and choose something more appropriate for you. Okay, so then you can publish this, make sure the index stage is on. So this allows search engines to index this page. You also have advanced SEO settings, such as structured data markup, which makes your pages eligible for rich results in search engines. Robust meta tags, so this essentially when bots crawl your page, will select the relevant instructions so bots know what info to display. So for example, this hides the page from search results completely. This instructs bots not to crawl links on this page. This instructs bots to hide the snippet for the pages from search engines and AI results, and so on. So that might be a good one for you in the AI age if you want. We also have the social share button. This is a good one so that if anyone shares your website, you can essentially control what image gets seen with the link. So this is also a very cool one to update. I would definitely do this one. Wonderful. So we have it here, and we have it specifically for X settings too. So you can essentially control the preview on X. I love it. And then, of course, when you are done with this, you should publish it. So there are so many you should go through. I would 100% recommend doing all of them because, you know, SEO is great. And the fact that you can control what bots scrape and they don't scrape is also a great feature to use. Okay, so that's it for SEO. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's move on. Okay, so that's really it. Finally, I'm just going to show you how to add website custom code to your site for those interested in coding, who have some coding knowledge, or for those who are just curious. Okay, so website custom code. What we're going to do is essentially go to the code editor that comes with Wix Studio. It's an IDE which allows you to, of course, change the color of things, but more importantly, add functionality to your site. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So all we're going to do is click on the code button and start coding. So here we have it. The coding is now turned on. You can code in here, or you can code in the Wix IDE, which is a separate IDE that pops up, which is more, I guess, in tune with the likes of VS Code or WebStorm or whatever IDE you are used to. Okay, so like I said, this probably looks familiar. So you've got your pages, and then you can go to the home page, the thank you page, all the pages are essentially here that you can edit. So the team page is one that we looked at. This is the one we created with all the team members. And then you can essentially add custom functionality to add to what is already there. Great. I'm just going to show you how to do this here, just so we can see what is going on. So this essentially is the Velo framework. So you will have to get familiar with the Velo framework. I'm just going to show you an example of how to use it now. Here's a link for those who are not familiar with it and would like to know how to write functions, as well as just get to know the syntax really. So of course, just to check it is working, you can print hello world, you can call functions on page elements. So here is the syntax of how to do so. You use the $W and then you find the element on here and you grab it with a string, and then you can essentially access properties of that element. So for example, let's click on this. This is text 12, as you can see here. So what I can do, I'm just going to remove this, is use $W and then get hashtag text 12. Okay, so it's nice because we get all these little suggestions popping up. Dot, and then I can choose to change the text and change it to hello. And just run that. And that has been changed. So that is a very basic example. Let's move on. I'm just going to go back to editing the site. Okay, now if you're not very well versed in Velo, then you can use the AI assistant. So for example, you have chosen the element here. You can choose an action, so on click or on mouse, and then you can describe what the code should do. So that is an option for you. However, I am not going to use this, but this is very handy for you to know. What I'm going to do is say that if the user is logged in, I want it to say welcome back, and then it says welcome. So this is quite cool. And this is the code that you're going to need. Okay, so we are going to use a module for this, and it's just an if-else statement. And then all we're going to do is run the code, and ta-da! You can, of course, publish it and view it as well. And that's really it. Okay, so lots to learn with the Velo documentation if you want to, become a skilled developer using Wix Studio. And yeah, that's really it. So we've now reached the end of the tutorial. I've shown you how to make a website that actually runs business operations. It is a hair salon, but like I said, you can make it whatever you wish. The world is your oyster. With this knowledge, you can really adapt and make whatever website you want. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, please drop them below and I will try my best to get back to you.